If you bought an expensive watch that you don't use to tell the time, you shouldn't have no cavities.
Yeah, you shouldn't have no cavities.
I just want to say something real quick. I had to read that like 5 times.
Why?
Because I did not know you were saying it first.
Oh, it's because I tweet how I talk. So
no. There's nothing wrong with how you talk. I got confused.
Oh no, because it's
like,
people. No, bro, it's people.
Like, what do you mean that you shouldn't have any cavities?
It's people who got $100,000 watches or 50,000 watches or $25,000 watches, and they got a mouthful of cavities and they need root canals and all types of weird shit. So that takes me into what I was talking about with rappers, right? About healthcare, because it's people that like every time something happens with a rapper, it's like, oh man, labels should give them healthcare and they should give them dental plans, and that you can get all of that. I've seen it happen. I'm not talking about from sitting on the label side. Excuse me, I'm talking about from sitting on the management side. From the management side, they do offer benefit packages. Like, yo, you can sign up for this, you can sign up for that. A lot of artists that get record deals are not concerned with their well-being. They're concerned with their look. They're not concerned. You think a fucking, like, more recently, artists have been getting their teeth done and all that shit. You think good teeth means more than a good watch?
Right.
No, you think fucking healthcare means more than a nice car? Because then I seen people say, oh, I said, it's civilians that don't have good healthcare. And the reason why I said that, it was like, oh, I seen somebody say like, what, rappers ain't civilians? It's not that rappers aren't civilians. They make more, rappers make astronomical amounts of money. I'm talking about like, could you, for the civilian out there who's listening to the pod, or might just catch this clip, or whatever, think about how hard you worked for your $40,000 a year. How much overtime you might have put in to make because $40,000 is not a lot of money, but how much overtime you might have put in, how much fucking sacrifice you might have put in, how much you might have missed Christmas. A rapper can get that shit in 45 minutes. In 45 minutes. And they could do that 4 times a week. And you telling me that it should be the label's responsibility to make sure that they pay $300 a month or $200 a month or $150, because there's a bunch of different plans, $150 a month for some fucking healthcare? No, get your priorities in order. That's the point that I was making about that shit.
Right.
Because rappers, everybody, and artists, not just rappers, but artists as a whole, everybody makes it like they're these helpless children that everybody takes advantage of, and they're not aware or cognizant of anything that's going on, that they're just making money. They're making all this money for the label, and nobody cares about if they can take care of themselves. That shit is not true. It is in certain cases, but it's not true. It's for every...
The option's available.
The option is more than available. The option is presented.
Yeah.
Because people think that like an artist gets in a room and like it's their moment, and then everybody's like, yeah, we finally got him. Let's get him. Like, yo, let's all take everything that we can from him. Not saying that hasn't happened.
Of course.
I'm just saying that in the midst of that, when artists, male or female, rapper or singer, rock star, who the fuck ever, if they know they have a drug problem, and I'm not saying that, there shouldn't be a team around that. If you know your artist has a drug problem, because you should push that. Like, yo, this is a real issue. If you want to keep living, you need to preserve your life. Cool, I get that. But anybody with a drug problem knows they have a drug problem. Mm-hmm. Now, the money is the worst drug, because the money provides the drugs. Money provides the cushion. Money provides this euphoria of not accepting the fact that you're not living a healthy life, or that you're not living a promising life. Money gives you access, right? Access to things that most people don't have. And the real responsibility is where the money lies more than the label will provide the money and all that other cool shit. But I'm talking about like once the money's in hand, and a lot of people don't want to learn. It's hard to tell a person like, yo, listen, I know you got $50,000 that you can, I'm not even talking about all the money you got, but you got $50,000 that you about to run downtown to the jeweler and go spend.
Right.
Which is cool. Everybody wants a nice watch or nice things. People want that. And I don't have nothing against nice things. But when a person's advising you, you got to have a click in you too. Like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna just chill and I'm not gonna buy. You know what? I'm not gonna buy this such and such. I'm a put this money somewhere else so I can grow it. You know what I mean?
I feel like most artists probably don't think about that when they're young. Is the thing.
But they don't all be young. See, the problem is, I feel like depending on the age, being young is all relative.
Okay.
It's all relative. It's subjective. I mean, not relative. It's subjective. Being young is subjective because and that's also access to education. You don't have to go to school to get education or to be educated, but we can hold. We see 16, 17-year-old entrepreneurs, right? Who, yeah, they might got a mother that's backing them. Shout out to the young kid who has this line called Spurgo. It's this young kid from Philly. His name is Trey. He started a clothing line. He's 13 years old. He started a clothing. I was actually supposed to connect with this kid one time, and I never got the opportunity to.
Who is this kid?
Yo, the kid is a fucking great kid, man. Great kid. I seen somebody post a video of him talking about his clothing line. He said he wanted to start a clothing line so that his mother could. He wanted to start a business so that his mother could retire from working. He did that in 1 year. Kid is 13 years old, right? Which is not regular. And every 13-year-old shouldn't chase that. I'm not telling every 13-year-old to chase that. I'm just talking about, and this is something that I'm learning in that book we was talking about, emotional intelligence, about how there's an IQ and an EQ. You know what I'm saying? It's two different things. Knowing how to control your emotions in every sort of situation. So what I'm saying is there's something that clicked in that kid at 13 years old where he might have seen his mom experiencing that hardship, busting her ass for that 40,000 or whatever she was making a year and saying, yo, my mom shouldn't be living like this. Let me do something. At 13 years old. So yeah, the rapper might have not came up how this kid came up, but I'm pretty sure that kid had humble beginnings. And most rappers have what? Humble beginnings. My problem that I have with artists, specifically male artists, is that everybody wants to be a man or claims to be a man until it's time to be responsible or accountable. Let's not just hold men to that. Let's hold everybody to that.
Right.
A lot of people they think that they're a grown man or a grown woman until responsibility sets in, right? I just seen in Brooklyn the other day, this lady walked into a store and left a stroller in there with a baby. You feel me?
I just saw a video that someone walked into some random restaurant and gave somebody a fresh newborn and peaced out.
Bro,
that's oddly common.
But I mean, there's deeper layers to issues of that.
Of course.
So I don't want to when I say these things, I don't want anybody to ever feel like I was never in that position. But I don't want anybody to ever feel like I'm talking down on you. No. I'm talking with you. Like, I'm never going to talk down on the youth because I was the youth. I'm always going to talk with the youth. What I'm saying is, and I see Gilly and Wallow like speak about this a lot, about like young guys who make the decision to be in the streets. And my biggest thing is, because that's not all that life is held to, is being in the streets or being a worker. Like, I just think that when dudes is like, I say specifically dudes because I'm a man in every sense of the word. When a lot of guys are like, it's time to smoke, it's time to drink, it's time to bag some chicks, or it's time to like go to the club and spend money, nobody could tell them how to do what they're doing because they're a grown man. I'm a grown man. When you get loud with another man and he feels disrespected, I'm a grown man. You're not going to play with me. Men bust their gun over that, fight over that. All types of ignorance comes from that. But when you say the simplest thing about, so you signed to a label and you didn't know that you could go fucking to the doctor, like you didn't know that? No, man, ain't nobody tell me. Ain't nobody tell me. So you can be an adult for ignorance, but you can't be an adult for intelligence. You got to draw a line somewhere, or you got to just can't keep making excuses.
The same amount of energy.
It takes more amount of energy to do all the dumb shit. It takes more. Absolutely. Well, it takes less thinking.
I feel like that's effortless.
It takes less thinking. But it takes less thinking. But to say, I'm going to go to the club, I'm going to take my card, I'm going to spend me a good 25 piece on some bottles, I'm gonna go before we go back to the crib or the telly or whatever. I'm gonna go to 7-Eleven responsibly and grab me some condoms. You feel like I'm gonna do all of that, but you don't know that you like. I just feel like people, because everybody says this. Oh, you pick and choose, you pick and choose, you pick and choose, as if everybody has like this one trajectory that they're always on,
right,
and they don't never feel different. That's impossible. All human beings, we experience different emotions. Emotions don't always mean being sad. Emotions don't mean that you acting like a fucking woman. You understand? Because I've seen tons of times where men say, "Oh man, you acting like a woman. That's some shit a woman to do." And I'd be like, I've been dealing with women my entire life, and I never seen a woman do some shit like that. So we got to stop putting like being emotional or having emotions strictly on being women,
right?
Because it's not true. It's not. It don't make sense when you put that shit on a chalkboard and say all the dumb shit that a dude to do and all the dumb shit that a woman to do based on like their emotions, and you be like, oh, y'all motherfucker, y'all dudes is bugging the fuck out. Not to say that women ain't either, but don't tell me that men ain't bugging the fuck out.
Right.
Because you know it's the first thing that men always will say.
I mean, it's easier.
Well, it's always easier to pass judgment or pass the buck to whomever when you don't want to be accountable, right? So you know how men always say, right, like a woman is like, all right, and I don't give a fuck. It's gonna be motherfuckers that call me a simp and all that other stupid shit. I don't give a fuck.
I haven't heard someone say simp in a long time.
People say that shit all the time. I don't give a fuck about that. But I'm just going off in actions, right? You see how it could be a woman and she got an OnlyFans. Let's say she got an OnlyFans and she might be playing with whatever on OnlyFans, doing whatever, everything you gonna pay that $30 for on that OnlyFans. And you know what the dude to say? Man, that bitch doing that because she ain't have no father. Look.
It's only funny because I heard this.
Look.
Mad times.
Man, that bitch only doing that because she ain't got no father. If she had her father in her life, she wouldn't be doing shit like that. But look, I can kill another man. I could rob another man. I could physically harm another man. I could sell a bunch of drugs that do harm to my community. Right? I could not raise my children or just have children with a bunch of different women. You got a class of people that's gonna call me a OG, a real nigga, a gangster, or this or that. Those ain't no daddy issues.